What's up guys, Hector aka DefCon TCG, and I'm here today with a video. I'm going to be playing Piper's Zoroark list. There's one or two changes I made, just kind of, from laddering, just testing things out. I really like Zoroark right now. It's been in a really good position into the meta game. It's the only deck that beats Guardy, which is a big plus. It draws a billion cards, so they always have it. And then the added Darmanitan line that she ended up putting into her deck definitely gives you a couple more options against decks like Ceruledge and even just Flame Body Cannon. It's just strong attack. Everybody remembers the old Radiant Greninja that was able to just clean up boards. So we're going to play some games with this today, and I've been having a ton of fun with it. Yeah, anything but the mirror. The mirror is pretty atrocious. It's kind of just like bossing around Zoroarks the whole time, because pretty much whoever hits in a Zoroark first loses. We're going to choose to go second. And hopefully, we can get some Buddy Poffins, maybe like a good Cleffa lead, draw some cards. Okay, this would have been like fine, I guess. Opponent has the Hardy Malamar sleeves. Just I do get a Zorua and an Artazon. So here what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to bench these all out. I'm going to use Artazon. It kind of sucks I'm giving it to my opponent. But because I drew the Switch, I can use the Switch instead of retreating the Zorua. And then I have Hilda to grab Dark Energy plus the... I have Hilda to grab Zoroark plus Dark Energy next turn. And then I can use Artazon to just Reshiram down. So I'm able to pretty much guarantee a turn to attack. Obviously, our opponent could also Iono us, so we'll see. There's a Zoroark in my hand currently, so hopefully our opponent doesn't Iono us, because we can use the Zoroark, use the Hilda to grab another Zoroark and an energy card. And then because we do have two Zoroarks in play, you can probably start, trade away the Cyrano. And then we can even maybe trade away the Rocket's Watchtower. Upside is saving it, because, generally this Dragapult deck does play a copy of Blood Moon or Saluna. Okay, never mind. We're probably just going to slam it. Okay. Oh, our opponent has a Dusknoir. It's unfortunate for us. This Dusknoir is probably going to pop our Zorua. And then our opponent's going to go for the Buddy Pot or the Ichipon item lock. Oh, actually, they knock out Munkidori, which I'm not sure I entirely agree with. I don't really think Munkidori is the threat here. I think really the way to beat Zoroark is kind of just kill the Zoruas before they develop into Zoroarks, because our opponent's going to now go for Grasping, or not Grasping Jar, Ichipollen, prevent us from using items. Raw, get another Zorua. It's a pretty solid card off the top. And bench Zoroark, and then I'm going to trade Cyrano, because if we draw energy card here, then I can... Okay, we draw Reshiram here, which is still pretty good. So we do still get the attack off. So I can Hilda here, grab Zoroark and a Dark Energy, evolve this Zorua, or this Zorua into Zoroark, and because we can't play items, this Buddy Poffin is going to be prime choice. Some more items, okay. So now I can retreat into Zoroark, and then we'll just smack this Badoo up. Thankfully for us, our opponent didn't get any Lokes last turn, so they're going to take an additional turn to set up here. Also with only 2 cards in hand. Like, I know my opponent doesn't have an Iono, because they probably would have played it. Or just any supporter, right? So our opponent's living off the top deck here, potentially the prize from the Dusknoir, but if our opponent got a supporter off the Dusknoir, yeah, they would have played it. So there's Ichipollen into Zoroark. And I think on this turn, so I get Cyrano, so I get a third Zoroark into play. Again, another just good card to trade away, that we have all of these guys down. Trade his way Zoroark. Since we're going to be going up 2 prizes, it's probably fine to trade away this Countercatcher here. I think trade away Countercatcher's fine. Yeah, Reversal Secret Box. Reversal is another card we can also keep. I think it's... here I really do want to draw a energy card. Let's see, so what am I discarding? I think... Okay, so if we're looking at our discard pile, we haven't really use anything that's super notable. Like if we had bosses or Turos in the discard pile, I would be maybe more tempted to keep this Pal Pad, but I think I can just get rid of it. I don't know if I'm going to need 4 or 5 copies of boss this game. So we're going to get rid of Pal Pad. I haven't used any copies of Turo. I'm going to use... No, I think if my opponent uses this to pop my Cleffa, I'm like very fine with that. And then, yeah, just use this boss's order. Bring up Dreepy. I think this is going to be our best course of action here. And then just, yeah, attach to this. And then I'm going to just preemptively put this Air Balloon here and the Rocket's Watchtower. So if our opponent does get a counter catcher, they can't counter catch a Reshiram and stick it. And then, we'll just go for Virtuous Flame, knock out Dreepy. So the thing is, yeah, I could have maybe held the Air Balloon in case our opponent counter catches up this Zoroark, but this Zoroark gets trapped for a turn and then can attack after. And I'm kind of fine with that. I'd rather not this thing get stuck because this thing kind of just sits there forever and does nothing. Okay, opponent gets a Lilies off the top. They're going to draw some cards. Hopefully they can get a Lokir to kind of develop a board. On my next turn, I'm probably looking to bench Darumaka's, because our opponent, with a kind of weak board they have, getting our Darmanitan here would be pretty nice. Obviously, we've been kind of locked off from our items here, so it's been tough to find one, but we have 3 Zoroarks in play, so anything's possible. If you just look at our decks, I have 25 cards left in deck. Obviously, our opponent has been doing a crazy ton of stuff, but I mean, you can still kind of see like how fast this deck churns through its deck without even using draw supporters. Yep, they're gonna counter catcher up the Zoroark and go for Itchy Pollen. We also do have a copy of not Core's Tenacity. That's wrong card. We have a Turo Scenario. So let's see. I'm going up another prize here. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna trade away Reversal Energy because it's gonna be pretty useless at this point. Trade away this Nest Ball, I think is fine. And then I can trade away this Yveltal. I think, using Yveltal. I don't think I'm going to be using Yveltal for the rest of the game. And then, just Turo up with the Zoroark. So we can get some damage onto this Badoo, and then I can just bench double Zorua. And then we have a pretty menacing board for our opponent here to deal with. Go for the Night Joker. And we'll go for Powerful Rage because it's funny. Kill this Badoo for 40 damage. And now, our opponent pretty much has to play a game of I can never bench another Pokemon. Because, so their best turn is pretty much evolve into Dragapult, evolve into Dusknoir. Dusknoir hit the active Zoroark for 130, and then knock out Cleffa. And they take a 3-prize turn, go down to 2, and then maybe combo that with an Iono and hope that I'm not able to, reestablish my board because I have 2 Zoruas down. So that's kind of worst case scenario. If our opponent doesn't Iono us, it's 99% chance we win. Because I can, there's the Dusknoir. So maybe we'll see the Iono. So no Iono is pretty much just a death sentence for our opponent. There's an Ultra Ball, so this is going to bench. This is going to get Dragapult. So the last card in hand has to be an Iono for this to really, really matter. But I guess our opponent could also get the... Yep, there's the Iono. So actually, pretty much exactly what I said. So let's see. We get our 2 cards, and it's double Darumaka. That's actually kind of funny. So Darumaka is not going to really matter at this point in the game. Our opponent benched a Pokemon. You have to use this to knock out the Zoroark. Yeah, because if you don't knock out Zoroark, then I just knock you back out. I guess maybe my opponent could also go for, Dusknoir, knock out Reshiram, swinging a Zoroark. But even that seems bad, too, because you're letting me keep a Zoroark in play. That's just going to let me draw 2 more cards. So, I think you just always Curse Blast the active Zoroark here, and then just knock out. Okay, so they go for the... I don't like this play, because if I get a Reshiram or a Night Stretcher, I win the game, and you're letting me play with so many cards. I get 3, and then I draw for turn to 4. Discard a card, draw 2 to 5. Discard a card, draw 2 to 6. So then you're saying off the top 5 cards of my deck, I'm not going to get a Night Stretcher? Because even if my opponent goes for Jet Headbutt here, there's not really a clean 4-prize. There's not a clean 4-prize map here. And now I also went with Boss's Order. I guess I have to have Boss's Order plus to Reshiram. Yeah, but now I just need a Stretcher, Artazon. I think I only play 1 Nest Ball. So yeah, I think the Nest Ball is out of the question, but it's not that crazy. Okay, so opponent is not going to take a knockout. Very smart of them to not turn on the Fezandipiti. Draw Artazon. I'm going to use this Buddy Poffin and take a look at the deck really quick. So I actually did prize the other copy of Reshiram. So what I can do here is start doing some trading. Let's see. So yeah, Secret Box's game, Night Stretcher's game. Turo lets me just kind of reset the Zoroark. So there's definitely a good amount of draws I can get here. I think it's worth Artazoning. No, because I can draw Super Rod. So I'll play the Artazon down right away. Get Zoroark, evolve this Zoroark. So yeah, I think not knocking out Zoroark was a pretty big mistake for my opponent there. Other one, so you get Turo Munkidori. Trade with this Zoroark, get rid of this monkey. And yep, there's the Super Rods. Super Rod, back Reshiram. Go for Artazon, and then this is going to be 20 billion damage onto the opposing Dragapult. Yep, and then just Night Joker for 440. And yeah, that is kind of the... Why I disagree with my opponent's play there. Oh wait, is this a one Reshiram build? Am I crazy? Only one Reshiram in this deck. That's crazy. Hold up. Is there really only one? Am I crazy? Oh, there is only one Reshiram in this deck. That's crazy. You know what? I'm gonna trust Piper on this one. I'm gonna trust Piper. I think the only thing I did cut was yeah, Duck for Switch, just because I don't know. I feel like I wasn't using Duck at all in the couple of practice games I played, and I had hit a Charizard, I hit a Dragapult. Like I feel like that game was, I mean, maybe the game is a lot like almost Dragapult can kind of never beat you if you have the Duck, but I think even without Duck, it's still like such a good matchup. But yeah, I think if our opponent there were to go like hit the active with Dusknoir and then knock it out. But I guess if they're going for a line of like don't take a knockout to not give Fez, it makes sense, but I don't know. Keeping the Zoroark in play is just so good for me. But I still had a lot of good top decks there. Like I still had Secret Box in deck, which is pretty much like a do whatever you want turn. Okay, so opponent won the coin flip, and we're going first this time, so hopefully we hit another evolution deck, because Zoroark seems to kind of bop all those. Pretty solid opening hand here. We get the Zorua, we get a Darumaka. Opponent did lead 3 basics, though. That is a little bit scary. Let's see. Oh, no. Well, that's not good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to retreat this Zoroark into, or Zorua into the Darumaka, and kind of hope here our opponent doesn't have that opening boss or prime catcher. Otherwise, it's looking rough. I think this is just like a 80-20 matchup to begin with, but I'm going to just hope that maybe we can muscle through. Our opponent gets a pretty good start here. They open Solrock and Lunatone. They get a Nest Ball here. It's probably going to be for another Gimme Ghoul. So we only have 3 real cards left in hand, because 2 of these are Goldangos. So let's see if they have... Okay, so there's a Fighting for Lunar Cycle. Now they have 5 unknowns in hand. Let's see. If our opponent smacks into Darumaka, I'm not too worried about that. On my turn, I can go evolve into Zoroark Iono. It'd be pretty tough for me to get an attack, but it's not impossible. So, let's see. I'm hoping... So we see a Rocket's Petrol. I'm hoping this isn't a Petrol for Prime Catcher. This is looking like Daniel's build that just won. Was it a good dance? Okay, it's going to get an Earthen Vessel. So our opponent probably doesn't have another Energy 2 attack. So that means this Solrock is going to get in here and knock out this... or not knock out, but it's going to do a chunk of damage to this Darumaka. But thankfully, Zorua's living a turn, so that's pretty good for us. Let's see. So I get Cyrano off the top. I don't know. Okay, so if I Cyrano, I can get a couple guys, and then I don't think it's going to be very cohesive to our setup. So I think I'm just going to use the Iono here. Want to try to get some more basics into play. Oh, this is looking a little ugly here. Trade. I do kind of want to keep like every card here. Like all these cards are very good. Let's see. I think Hilda might be the least valuable card because I already have a Zoroark and a Dark in hand. I get a Nest Ball. Okay. And Nest Ball for Zorua. It's pretty good. And then I could go for the Okidogi play this turn, which maybe isn't that bad. My opponent only has one energy in discard, and Okidogi can knock out Genesect or Goldingo. So actually, you know what? I don't know if this play is particularly good, but I think it's kind of funny. So we're just gonna go for poisonous. Yeah, poisonous. Whatever that. What is this attack even called? Mucus Clature? I don't know. I'm just gonna ignore that. All right, so it's not looking good, bro. Our opponent went straight into the Goldango, which is definitely not a good sign for us. Thankfully, though, if our opponent does somehow whiff this knockout, we're in a pretty good spot with our Okidogi, because Okidogi does do 260. Our opponent needs 5 energy. I mean, it's not unheard of. They have 10 cards in hand. They did use the Genesect, so 2 of these aren't real. So they have 7 cards in hand, pretty much. They can use... Oh, well, that was silly. Our opponent attached this Air Balloon when they already retreated out of the Soul Rock, so small misplay from our opponent there, but you know what? I will take it, because this matchup is pretty buns. Let's see. We see the Metal Energy attached. Hopefully we don't see a Superior. There's 3 energy in the discard pile. Again, 2 of these cards aren't real. So there's 7 other cards in the hand. 5 of them are energy. I feel like if they're not, because our opponent kind of would have just slammed them. So maybe they're trying to do math. They're like, okay, maybe if I do 4, it does 200. He goes, takes down by 1, takes down by 1 again, takes down by 1 again. But, you know, Zoroark taking the prize lead into Goldango just almost never happens. It's pretty funny. I mean, this is like a funny gamble. No, we see the boss order to knock out Zorua, but this is fine. I'm pretty okay, because I get to still use my Okidogi to knock out Goldango. Oh wait, no, Okidogi's not poisoned anymore. No. Okay, so now I have to find Pecharunt. Oh, our opponent has a Night Stretcher for energy, so they're really down bad. They have like no energies in hand. Okay, so Cyrano here does get me the knockout because I can Cyrano or like Fezandipiti, Pecharunt, and like another Zoroark. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna promote Zoroark here because I need to use the Pecharunt to get Okidogi back in the active poisoned. Draw on ends PP up. Alright, these have to be 2 very good cards. Artazon Binding Mochi. Okay, not exactly something that's gonna get us back into this game, I think. Ooh, yikes. That is not good. That is not good. Okay, so you get Zorua here. I'm gonna counter catcher this Goldango here, or not Goldango, this Genesect. I'm gonna just kind of hope, I guess. I mean, there's not really a better way to put it. Yeah, we're just gonna kind of hope here that our opponent can't retreat this Genesect. They're down 1 balloon and petrol. They had the other balloon in hand. But, you know, our opponent was pretty low on energy last turn. Pretty low. They didn't have a lot of energy. They had a stretcher to get back in energy for the... Oh, there's a vessel. There's some more. There's at least 4 more draws. Yeah, I think this one's cooked. Yeah, I mean, if we were able to get a Cyrano last turn, we would have been looking pretty good. Or like a Secret Box. Secret Box would have been a big help. Let's see. I can hope, right? I can hope that our opponent doesn't have the knockout. I see a Fighting Gong. Oh my god, that opponent has so many cards in hand. There's Arvin that's gonna get superior. Okay, yeah, this one's cooked, guys. All right, I'm gonna pick that one up. I don't really see that one going too well. The gamble almost did work out. Unfortunately, the boss's order unpoisoned us, so not very good. Let's see. All right, so we had a Dragapult, and then we hit a Goldango. Obviously Goldango, Zoroark is historically detected for 4 with like Toedscruel, but it's not as popular at majors. I think it was like barely on the graphic last time, but maybe one of these games we're gonna open a Buddy Poffin. I'm feeling it this game. We're gonna not mulligan, open Buddy Poffin. Okay. Well, we almost did some of that. We did not mulligan. Our opponent actually mulligan this time. So our opponent, oh my god, they're playing Goldango too. Oh yikes. Okay. Okay, at least we get another Zorua off the top. That's not too bad. And our opponent puts down a Fez turn 1, which not super green with that. I don't like the turn 1 Fez bench. It's kind of just like food to like get boss's orders. Okay, our opponent gets rid of Vitality Band, which I don't think if that fixes any math in this matchup specifically. I mean, it works for this Yveltal. One less energy. Our opponent doesn't get any Gimme Ghouls down. That'd be pretty nice for us. Again, another 2-prizer bench here. Opponent's only going to be able to get 2 Goldangos into play now. And, you know, I'm not really sure how much I'm agreeing with this play. Yeah, because they don't even get a Gimme Ghoul down. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring up this Fezandipiti and then clutch it. And then just kind of hope this buys us a turn. Bench out these guys. Go for clutch. Next turn I can go for Hilda plus Dark Energy. And then start the Zoroark trains rolling. Let's see, our opponent's going to have 10 cards in hand here. So they're probably going to go for Metallic so they can draw some more cards. And then there's a Turo. Okay, I mean, it's not the end of the world. We make our opponent burn a Turo pretty early. So now they don't have a boss's order to kill one of our Zoruas. And because, oh, okay, so they just don't have an energy in hand at all. Okay, this is looking okay for us. Looking okay. It ends PP up. It's not gonna do too much here. Go for Hilda, for Zoroark and a Dark Energy. Zoroark, and I think I'm just trading away this Pal Pad again. There's nothing really I want to put back at the moment. Let's see. Get Cleffa Buddy Poffin. That is a pretty good 2 cards. I'm going to get 1 Zorua here. And Cleffa. And then I'm going to attach this. Okay, so maybe there was an argument to use the Munkidori there. But I'm going to feed my opponent this Cleffa, attach to Zoroark. And then I'm going to draw a bunch of cards here. Gasping draw. And we get the Cyrano for next turn. So we can kind of turn all of these Zoruas into Zoroarks. And then once this Cleffa's knocked out, I can bench this Munkidori, attach, and move some damage counters off this Yveltal. Start working on this Lunatone on the bench. We're definitely going to have to look for some kind of like cheeky KOs. We don't want to have to play the race war with the Goldango deck because they're going to race us way faster than us. But, I mean, if they're not able to put any Gimme Ghouls down, that's pretty solid for us. See, so we see is oh, that's annoying. Okay, so we're gonna go down to 3. Definitely getting rid of this. Definitely getting rid of this, and this. Okay, we get to keep the PP up, and yeah, Stretcher. I think we have to keep PP up Stretcher, and then Cyrano just gets us all of our Zoroark. So our opponent must just have like all the Goldangos in their hand naturally if they're not using the Metallic signal. Alright, promote Yveltal. What I get Darumaka off the top. So Darumaka is a pretty good bench here as well. I'm actually going to throw that down this turn, I think. Yeah, throw the Darumaka down. Well, let's go for Cyrano first. Want to get some Zoroarks in play. Probably not using Okidogi at this point in the game. If I were to be able to use it like turn 1, it's probably fine. We'll get rid of Dogi. Draw 2. Counter Catcher Binding Mochi. Pretty solid 2 cards. Ooh. I do want to keep Binding Mochi for maybe later in the game when we can use it to draw some or get some like cheeky damage in. Oh, this is a tough one to want to discard. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna trade away Darumaka because I do have the Night Stretcher to get it back. And there is another copy of Darumaka in the deck. Get Boss's Order, Iono. Again, more cards I really don't want to trade away. Ends PP up to Zoroark. And we're not in any rush here really to, you know, our opponent, there's not a lot of rush because our opponent doesn't have any Gimme Ghouls down. So I can just kind of take my time a little bit here. I'm going to probably get 2 prize cards before our opponent takes another one. I can Virtuous Flame this, and then if my opponent wants to bench a Gimme Ghoul, I can boss kill that Gimme Ghoul. Get a Dark Energy, pretty good for next turn. It's going to give me an attachment onto Zoroark. Opponent's got 2 Fighting Energy and discard pile, so Darmanitan has an attack. I think it's called Backdraft. I think it's Backdraft. And it's 2 colorless energy, does 30 damage for every basic energy in your opponent's discard pile, so definitely against Gholdengo deck after they take a big knockout on a Zoroark, promote Darumaka, smack him up. So I definitely want to save the, let's see, I have not used an energy switch yet, so I think this deck plays 2, so I can go like attach to Darumaka, energy switch Darmanitan, and if my opponent attacks into it, I can potentially just do it again. And then I see about Darumaka does have 80 HP, so if our opponent wants to take a knockout here, they're going to have to commit either Prime Catcher or Boss's Order to Yveltal. We see the Code Breaker, but our opponent did already use Fezandipiti, I'm pretty sure. So they're going to just probably stack some Gimme Ghouls for next turn, I would assume. Arm going off. Alright, opponent's going to pass there. And let's see, so my opponent is already down. Oh, they stretched for it. So they usually this deck only plays 1 recovery card. Let's see. Definitely want to get an attachment down to Zoroark. And I can start using some trades here. I'm going to trade away one of these counter catchers because I'm going to go up a prize here. Get Cyrano. That's definitely getting traded away. We definitely don't need that at this point. Trade away Cyrano, and then I can trade away this Buddy Poffin. Okay, get another Zorua, another Zoroark. I don't really want to use the Boss's Order here because I think I want to use Boss's Order next turn to kill a Gimme Ghoul. So I'm just going to take the knockout onto this Lunatone here. Go for Virtuous Flame. Take another knockout. Get Air Balloon off the prize. So not too bad if our opponent wants to boss stall something like the Reshiram, because, again, the only way they're going to be able to take a knockout on this turn is if they use the Yveltal. Yeah, that's what I figured, is they probably stacked Buddy Poffin. It is kind of crazy they haven't found a Gimme Ghoul until now, but you know what? We got to play to our win cons. There's a flip. Yeah, I mean, if I had a way to knock out this Fez this next turn, I think that's what I would want to do. I mean, yeah, without Turo, it's like pretty much impossible. I mean, I could like Boss's Order it and then hit it for 170 and then Turo. No, I think just going for two prize knockouts into Gholdengos is probably going to be better here. I probably want to find a Turo to get this Yveltal off my board. So I'll start trading away some Zoroark. There's an Artazon. I think I'm fine trading away Artazon. Looking for Turo. If not, I can always use this Hilda to establish another energy into play. Get rid of Zorua. Okay, so I do find the Secret Box, so I can get a Turo out this turn. Problem is, what do I want to get rid of? Because I'm down a good chunk of resources already. let's see. I think now it's worth it to get rid of Hilda. I think it's fine. I'm gonna be able to trade into my reversal energy pretty soon here. Anyway, I think Binding Mochi is also less useful now. And I do have a ton of energy into play, so maybe I can... No, PP Up's probably always worth keeping. I can get rid of Iono. I don't think the game's going to last that many more. Actually, it's probably Monkey. I can keep Iono. I could... Okay. I'll leave the option of having Binding Mochi in the deck, so I'm going to keep that there. Grab Turo. Just like these cards is fine. Just more bait to trade away. And then I can... Yep, Turo up the Yveltal here. Bench Darumaka. And then let's see. I have 2 energy in here. It ends PP up, and I just want to set up for a double Darmanitan attack. And then let's see. Yep, I think from here I can just go for the Night Joker. Night Joker, knock out ZOROARK, and then my opponent's got a 5,000 card hand, so they're definitely going to be able to take a knockout onto me next turn. Prize card. It's another Dark Energy. Yeah, we're just churning through this deck. Usually this deck doesn't play any copies of Iono, the Goldango deck, so it's pretty much guaranteed we're going to be able to keep our hand, which is nice. And then we see the Goldango. This one's probably just going to get an Air Balloon slapped onto it, retreat into that bench to give me Ghoul, and then that one's going to retreat, draw 2 more cards. So our opponent's looking to get a 20-card hand here pretty soon, which is crazy. Even in like with this deck, it's like difficult to get to 20 cards. And with any deck, it's difficult to get 20 cards. Maybe like the old like Shining Arcana Guardy, where you had the Refinement Curly to draw cards, and you had Shining Arcana Gardevoir. It's like very tough. Probably see our opponent evolve this bench Gimme Ghoul into a Goldango as well. Yep. And our opponent should not bench a 1-prizer for the rest of the game, just because if they do, I'm able to just like boss that and take 1 knockout into a 2-prizer. So yeah, if I'm my opponent, I probably just want to kind of stick with this board that I have going on right here. I do, because you can't Pecharunt into Pecharunt. I was saying maybe there's like an energy switch play I can do. Maybe take a knockout with something. But yeah, our opponent's gonna just discard a billion cards here, and all we have to do is find Darmanitan next turn with a bunch of draws. So I think we should be fine. Worst case scenario, we can even like bench Fez again. And whew. Yep, that's 300 damage. So then I'm going to promote this Zoroark here and then put the Air Balloon on it. We do sell Switch in deck as well. So promote Zoroark. Draw for turn. And then just use this Nest Ball to look at the deck. You have the big guy in there. Let's see. Do I have a Fez here? I think benching Fez is fine. My opponent doesn't have like a weird way of taking an extra prize card. So this guarantees that I draw the Darmanitan. I can flip. Pecharunt, energy, go for trade away Cyrano. You get reversal Darmanitan, evolve into this Darmanitan, fetch energy, Air Balloon, retreat into this Darmanitan, and then let's see. I think I'm just gonna start putting down these is Binding Mochi ever useful? I guess if I get like double energy switch with this, I'm pretty sure this deck plays at least 1. Zorua. I guess, yeah. I guess I can leave it for the potential Pecharunt. I guess I don't really care what my opponent does, so I'm not even going to Iono here. I'm just going to use the backdraft. Go for 360. Knock out the Goldango. And take my 2 prize cards. And then, yeah, my opponent is, like, forced to attack with this Goldango onto my Darmanitan, or else they just lose the game. And then I can kind of just do the same thing where I can I think I used both my PPOs, right? Yeah. I can go Energy Switch from this Zoroark onto here, Night Stretcher for Dark Energy, and then Super Rod back to Darmanitan, and then just trade into it. So if my opponent doesn't have a hand disruption, it should be guaranteed game. My opponent has to put 3 energy in the discard pile here while having 3 in the graveyard. So they're going to have 6 energies to be 180 damage, which is going to be 360 damage on my end. So ideally, if my opponent were to play double superior, get all the energy out of the discard pile, then discard 3, that should just be game, right? Because then I wouldn't have a way to knock out. No, I lied. I have Pecharunt also. Easier way to knock out. Or no, it only does 240. So yeah, I would have to have Pecharunt plus boss, which I mean I have the whole play, but we're gonna do the Darmanitan way because it's a lot funnier. So I can go for Energy Switch, put this here, and then Night Stretcher, grab Dark Energy, that's Darumaka, Super Rod back at Darmanitan, flip the script. Yeah, you can kind of see like the application here because I mean, our opponent definitely did get a little bit unlucky here by not being able to get all of those gimme goals down until like later in the game. But like you can see, just having the one prize option of Darmanitan to do something like this versus like Goldango or the Ceruledge deck is just another cool option. I don't think I got to use the second attack any of these games, but honestly, it's just such a good card. Like having it as a 1-of is really nice, and when you prize it, it sucks. So. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, like I said, this is just pretty much Piper's List. I think I just put a switch in there over Duck. And yeah, deck's really good. Try it. Zoroark's very well positioned to the metagame currently. Appreciate you guys for watching. Have a good one. Peace.